The UN Secretary-General said today the war in Ukraine is unwinnable for Russia. Antonio Guterres said the only question now is how many more lives will be lost and how many Mariupols must be destroyed. Fresh pictures from the battle for that city show just how much devastation has already been caused, as Garen Vincent reports.
Glimpses of the battle for Mariupol from the people who are fighting it. This footage from the Ukrainian armed forces shows what they say is a Russian artillery attack on an industrial complex. And this video from pro-Russian forces purports to show their progress into Mariupol, or what's left of it. 80% of the city, according to the local authorities, has now been destroyed. Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister assures Mariupol's citizens that the government is trying to get them out. We won't leave anyone behind, she says. People who have managed to escape the siege arrive here in Lviv and then move on by coach to Poland. This is your son?
Yes, this is my son.
It's been terrifying, Ksenia told me. The city has turned into hell, she said. I felt like the world forgot about us. Her president is doing his best to make sure the world knows all about the fate of Mariupol. Being applauded by parliaments via video link has become part of Volodymyr Zelensky's daily routine. Today it was Italy's turn. Imagine if this was happening to Genoa, he said. The other regular part of the president's schedule is a plea for direct talks with the Russian government, but they are yet to respond.
Mr. Zelensky says he wants to find out what it's going to take to persuade Mr. Putin to cease fire, but the price of any peace deal might well be Russian control over the place these people call home.
And that is not something Ukrainians seem ready to accept. The UN's take on this conflict, meanwhile, is that there'll be no victor.
This war is unwinnable. Sooner or later it will have to move from the battlefield to the peace table. And that is inevitable. The only question is how many more lives must be lost? How many more bombs must fall? How many Mariupols must be destroyed?
The Russian invasion has now driven more than 10 million Ukrainians from their homes, and there is no sign here that there won't be more to come. Geraint Vincent, ITV News, Western Ukraine.
And our global security editor Rohit Katru is in Kyiv for us. Rohit, Russia seems to be changing tactics as the Ukrainians really dig in. What is the latest that you're seeing?
Well, what we're seeing is that around 10, 15 miles to the northwest of us, a very active day today, a lot of artillery fire, explosions, fairly consistent, very loud throughout the day. Because of a curfew here, we haven't been able to get up close and see precisely what's going on. But one theory is that the Ukrainian forces have used that curfew to encircle some of the Russian troops who've been trying to take some of those suburbs. Meanwhile, we're hearing from American sources who say they believe that Belarus is about to announce that they're adding 10 to 15,000 troops to the Russian forces. That's significant because it's roughly the number of forces that the Russians are thought to have had killed during this war during the last 27 days. Their forces are now, by definition, almost decimated, and this could make a very big difference to their fighting forces.
OK, Rohit Katru in Kyiv. Thank you. I'm staying with Ukraine, and last night we reported on the group of rescued orphans hoping to come to the UK, but they are stuck in Poland because the right paperwork hasn't yet been completed. Well, tonight, though, they are, it looks like, a step closer to travelling. Our correspondent Peter Smith joins us from Warsaw, where the group is waiting to leave. So, Peter, some positive news, yes?
Yes, Mary, and actually some breaking news I can bring you tonight just from the last few minutes. When I arrived at the hotel the children are staying at tonight, I was told there was one final snag. Yes, they had received the final piece of paperwork they required from the Ukrainian government. That's what was missing yesterday. That's what cost them their place on the flight yesterday. But they still required a final piece of permission from the Polish government. And I can report now, as of just the last few minutes, that permission has been received. And all going well, Virgin Atlantic tell me they are standing by ready to take these children, these 52 orphaned Ukrainian children, on a flight to the UK tomorrow. Now, of course, we have been here before. We were with them tomorrow on board the bus when they travelled to the airport to Warsaw, and they got tantalisingly close. They were devastated. We saw the deep despair when they were told they weren't able to fly, and they've been stranded here in this hotel looking over at Warsaw Airport ever since then. And when I spoke to them tonight and their charity organisers and telling them this news, they were absolutely delighted. And having seen that despair in their eyes yesterday, I'm pleased to say that tomorrow we will be here again to see the joy in their eyes when they cross that street and take their place on a chartered flight to the United Kingdom.
OK, Peter Smith in Warsaw. Wonderful, thank you. A rare bit of good news from this horror. Well, one of the Kremlin's most prominent opposition figures, Alexei Navalny, has been sentenced to 9 more years in prison following a fraud hearing. Russian prosecutors accused him of stealing £3.5 million of donations given to his anti-corruption foundation, an accusation he denies. The new sentence replaces his earlier jail term, meaning he will now have to spend several years in a maximum security prison. A group of Ukrainians has tried to prevent a yacht belonging to the former Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich from docking in Turkey. The country is reportedly yet to impose sanctions on Russia. It's not yet known whether Abramovich was aboard.